All right, all right. We are alive. Good morning, traders. Friday, September 19th. We are 1 minute away from the 9:30 open on NQ Nasdaq, and we have no news today. So that's interesting. All right, so here is the open. Took me a minute to get my stream going. Let's see here. Just noting these equal lows right here. I am overall a little more bullish on the market. However, I have reasons to be hesitant today, and I have reasons to be bearish today just as well. So I'm going in kind of feeling a little mixed today. The way price pushed away from the midnight open, the regular trading hours gap, is making me feel a little bearish. This liquidity that's being generated down in here, it's making me feel bearish. I really don't like shorting all-time highs, but this just tapped into a 4-hour liquidity zone and a rejection block. So I'm just kind of preparing for a short idea. I want to see what it would look like, how much risk. About 45 per contract. Now, one of my rules is I do not take trades right at 9:30 open. Maybe towards the end of this macro, 9:37, 38, if it looks really pretty, I might take it. Let's see here. My short tool back on, that was the idea. So the other thing is Fridays with no news tend to be a little lower probability, a little dicier. So I want to keep that in mind. Not be too eager to push the button. I'm also considering it's Friday, so I'm expecting the possibility of a TGIF setup. Thank goodness it's Friday, which is just basically a retracement of the week to some extent. So if this is the Thursday high of the week, come up in for a retest, somewhere at 50% of this range, and then price sells off. I would expect that a little more for the PM session, but just the way it's looking right now kind of has me wondering if the day is gonna sell off and come back down into typically like a 30% retracement might be a good average. It can come down to 40 at 50, 20. It already came down to almost 30% this morning, but with this whole setup, I don't know, making me feel a little more bearish. However, we're at all-time highs, which case we want to remain bullish until proven otherwise. So going back to the 1 minute here. Oh, the other thing I want to talk about is just the 1 hour is kind of ugly. It's consolidating in this range, in this flag. We have these gaps that keep flipping. It is possible that this is the actual breakout happening, so I'm keeping that in mind here too. The 4 hour, if it's going to reject, this is the rejection zone for me. Otherwise, it's coming for this previous day high, which is actually my target. If I had to pick one or the other, bearish versus bullish, I am going to pick bullish for the day. Call it 60-40. I'm 60% bullish, 40% bearish kind of thing. Or yeah, let's just go with that. At least at this point in time, unless I see more information. So got to close below this inversion in this breaker. So this is only 933, 934 candle. It's too early for me to do anything. This macro is highlighted in red. It's just a reminder for me to be super careful, if not it likely not do anything, but if I am going to do something, it's got to be perfect, and it's got to be towards the end of that time window. And with this price action, I probably would have gone with a shallower stop, but you know, something like that is probably what I would have done, which that would have been sweet because it would have gotten the equal lows. Now they're a little bit more like that, but close enough. I really don't have anything to do in case in the case of longs. Pretty much only short from here. We'll just wait and see for the moment. So here I probably would have been out of this short trade at break even. It would have come more than 50%, 60% of the way to my target, and that would have been a break even signal for me. So I'd have been break even had I taken this short, probably, even if it does end up being a winner. So I'll just put that there. And we'll see what happens. You can see the wicks and tails on these candles are pretty large in comparison to the body. Other way around for like these candlesticks where we have a big body, a small tail. So this is a higher resistance opening. It's not really wanting to move. It's kind of chopping back and forth. And if we went down to a smaller time frame, we can kind of see the zebra stripe pattern, right? I could probably go down to a 5-second even. And we can just see these wild, deep retracements, these big swings. Let's see here. So that's 75 ticks out of 108. So yeah, that was roughly 60-something% of the way to my target. So hard to say. I might have tucked my stop loss up. More than likely, I probably would have reduced it. Probably. So let's even just do that. If I think back to what I likely might have done. Let's actually think about that. So this candle would have closed. I would have set a limit order probably right there. I think I was initially saying stop was right above there. 2R was somewhere down in here. So I would have done something like that. Price would have been not quite 60-70%. I probably would have tucked my stop probably to here. So I don't know. Maybe I would have been in it. Maybe I wouldn't have. But what's important about that, I like playing that back in my head. Sometimes I just loosely put things out, and then I think about, well, what would I have done? Just to try to understand. look at the scenario, evaluate the situations, and see the patterns in what I would have done. Like in this here, I would have set a limit order in front of this breaker. That I wouldn't have, you know, some people, you might want to say, well, I would have done the inversion. I wouldn't have. I'd have front run it a little bit. And so now, probably would have gone break even any which way. So we'll just call that a break even trade probably. They can't say for certain what I would have done or wouldn't have done. Looks like we have some SMT possibly forming, so let's take a look at that. Let's see what ES and YM are doing. So they both took Asia high. Everything took Asia high, I think. So yeah, we have some SMT down in here, I think. Let's take a look. Yep. A few different SMTs. The indicator is picking up one SMT right here. Couple of things. If you're interested in this SMT indicator that automatically prints SMTs, it is a paid indicator. It is the only indicator that I've paid for that I actually care about. And it's a one-time fee, affordable. There's a link in the description below. It's really nice not to have to draw your SMTs in every which way. Also, I have a free trading Discord group, and if you want to get access to like all my processes, my model, my trading operating procedure, it's, you know, just full checklists for exactly what I do every day, how I find bias and narrative, how I determine low probability conditions. You can get all that in my free Discord. I don't sell anything. It's all free, and a link is below. All I require is you just sign up for my Discord and come hang out with a tight group of handful of traders, and you can get you can ask me questions there. You can get these free materials. What I find is, at this point in my journey, helping people helps me, because the more I teach what I know, the better I get at what I know. All right, so let's take a look at this. What's going on now? We have the first presented for value gap, the first gap after the 9:30 open. There was a 15-minute stop hunt. We can see here on the 15-minute, it took this candle's low. This mitigated this gap right here. However, I like 1 hour stop hunts, which there was not a 1 hour stop hunt. Kind of making me wonder a little bit, is this going to be maybe seek and destroy? Not even a 30-minute stop hunt, only a 15-minute stop hunt. I think the bearish idea is out, I think. I think it's going to be one stage delivery. So one stage delivery is just this, and nothing I can do in here. I want two stage delivery. I want it to do something like this, this, and then this, where we create some kind of bottom that I can get in on, or top, either way. I am a little more, this level for me is a level to short. I can't long in here. See how deep these retracements are. Oh, one thing I wanted to do is I was actually curious to go look at previous Fridays. So I got NQ over here, and so here is last Friday, the 9:30 open. Kind of the same thing, some whipsaw back and forth. Came down into midnight, took a little bit of liquidity. I don't know what time frame that would have been. Here's a volume imbalance. Oh, I think I remember this. I think I took this long on demo because there's not an inversion. There's a volume imbalance. I took it long on demo and the power kept going out. So I'm going back to the current chart today. So it looks like ES and YM are in sync. They're both delivering to sell side liquidity, whereas NQ is still stalling out. So London low is the target for these. It looks like they were already delivering pre 930 even a bit. Yeah, 930 just kept pushing that down a little bit sideways now on both YM and ES. So not in sync. Oof. One thing I'm really having to work on right now is remembering the perspective that the risk that I put into my trade is the fee to get into my trade. That you have to let go. You have to assume that is a business expense. You're like, I'm entering this trade. It's a business expense. I am putting money out. Kind of like if you were paying for marketing or advertising, you wouldn't know when you purchased it if it was going to return anything or not. And similarly, retaining that perspective that the money I am putting up is money I'm letting go of. And the reason for that is, and I spent some time journaling this before the session, is my account's in the green and I'm happy about that. And it's to the point where it's starting to feel like, oh, I don't want that to go away. And when you start to get that feeling, I think it's important to actually let it go for sure. So in my head, I'm letting go of all of my profits. I don't care about them. And that's actually helped my psychology a lot. But I got to keep reminding myself that, because the moment I start caring, like, oh, I'm going to put up risk for this trade, but I don't want to lose it, I notice that's when I start messing up a whole lot more and I start losing a whole lot more. So it's an ironic juxtaposition of the two, is you got to be willing to let go of it in order to keep gaining. And then also remembering that a P&L curve is not linear on the short term, right? It's let's see if you can see this. It doesn't just go, I can draw it on the chart, right? Your P&L curve isn't this. Your P&L curve on an account is more like this, right? That's more what it looks like, is it just kind of works its way up. And got to keep that in mind. So far, price is stuck in this opening range. This is a clue for low probability conditions when 930 does not distribute outside of the range. Zooming out here to the 5-minute. Looking a little better. The 5-minute does look like a stop hunt and an inversion right there. But I don't trade the 5-minute. That's not my entry time frame. And then given this price action here, that then brings me back to a bullish thesis and a target of the previous day high. So this liquidity was swept. We haven't yet rejected from the consequent encroachment of this 4-hour wick. It still could. We have 10 minutes left on this 1-hour candle. So the 1 hour looks pretty clean at this point. 1 hour buy side was taken right there. Buy side liquidity. Okay, the 1 minute's finally starting to move. So not exactly a breaker. We'll just call it a, I don't know. It's not, it is a change in state of delivery. I guess it swept that low. It is a breaker. We can call it a breaker. So now we're in the 950 macro. So we're outside of this opening range finally. Here is a tailless candle, a high probability target, so just minding that. A fair value gap. If I can clean up some of this, what do we got? Anything? There's an equilibrium up there. Low. We don't really need any this stuff. No retest of this breaker so far. Just kind of looking at these candles, seeing what I see. I don't know, it's starting to look pretty good for us. The TGIF short, where it takes this high from Thursday, creates a new high in that morning session, and then in the PM session distributes down, clearing out some of this liquidity. Is maybe what I'm thinking, maybe. So that bullish thesis, so it switched from, without the rejection from here, I had to go back to bullish until this point in time. Once it sweeps this high, then it's more of a bearish thesis. But I'm also really hesitant to short all-time highs because they just print new all-time highs. I would much rather wait for a trade, a long trade somewhere. I might not get that this morning though. It might just be tape reading. We'll see. All right, so previous day high taken on MNQ by a tick. So YM did a nice sell side liquidity grab. As did ES. NQ really didn't do anything, nor did it provide me an entry model. Oh boy, oh wow, I looked away for a minute and interesting. That would be a short idea. I don't like it though. I would have preferred to have seen it dig up into here before going short. So a nice rejection on this candle. Would want to see this candle here push swiftly, close above that candle. Just like it is. And if it does, that then creates an order block. Does not right now. This here is what an order block would be. It's the body of these two candles here. Excuse me. Want to see a close above for a more bullish delivery. We have a 15-minute consecutive candle SMT forming. Let's do this. I'm going to switch screens over here. I'm going to log out of this account. I'm not comfortable shorting this all-time high if it does end up presenting with that account. All right. So we'll come back here. And let's see if we get a close below this, creating an inversion. Now I got to remember we do have a breaker here, but I'm anticipating that breaker failing because of this right here. This liquidity grab to send it all down to internal. I think it's a lower probability trade. That's why I'm taking it with not my funded account that I've been trading. And I'll take it with a paper account. I think that's valuable too, like, because it can build confidence. Like, as long as you're not treating a demo account or a paper account like a gambler, is I think on a deeper subconscious level, what results you get out of all of this your evaluation accounts, your funded accounts, your demo accounts, your backtesting. I think it affects your psyche. And I've noticed when I treat my demo accounts poorly, which is part of the experience to some extent, like a little kid making a mess or causing trouble, and then getting to experience what that feels like and the repercussions of that. Same thing's true with our demo and our paper accounts. And so I wouldn't take a super poor quality trade, but if there is something that like I'm on the fence on, I will take that with a paper or demo account. And then that's information in terms of these trades I'm hesitant on. Is my P&L green or is my P&L red? And if it's red, that tells me that my gut's right and these are not good trades and I shouldn't take them. But if my P&L is green, it means I'm being too conservative and I should be a little more open to taking more trades with that funded account. So it is now 10 o'clock. New 1 hour candle opens. New 4 hour candle. We do have a large gap below on the 1 hour, on the 4 hour. Pop this on the screen, hourly open. So here's the 10 o'clock open right there. We can watch how this 10 o'clock candle is going to form. Is it going to be a bullish candlestick where this is the open and we got a low, a high, and a close? Is it going to be a bearish candlestick? What's it going to be? Is it going to look like this? We don't know. Oops. We shall see. Just waiting. If I had to guess, I'm guessing it's going to come and do a deep retracement and then it would fall, kind of thing, if it is going to be short. But like I had said earlier, I want to see it take more liquidity than that. So the best scenario would be to take this liquidity, come up in here, take more, and then sell off. So we'll see which it does. Either way, I got nothing to do in here. Let's clean this chart up maybe a little bit more. We can see price is not wanting to move. A little more typical Friday price action. You get some high resistance and a push, and high resistance and a push. Zooming out here on the 5-minute. 5-minute formed this inversion, formed a gap. So we have bullish delivery on the 5-minute, 15-minute, etc. So this is these equal highs were taken earlier. But here's this gap that we know one of two things is going to happen. Either this 1 hour candle currently, it's going to find its high. It's going to come down and find the low and balance this whole inefficiency. Or this candle is going to close somewhere up in here. The next candle is going to open up, come down into this gap, and push further. So those are kind of the two more likely scenarios that we can look at when we're wanting to anticipate price. Here on the 4 hour, we're still working inside of the wick on this 6 a.m. candle. So over here on the 1 minute, I see another tailless candle right there. And let's see if we have any more of these. So these are kind of starting to tell me the more of these I start seeing, the more I start feeling bearish. And it could save them for like way later. You know, in my head, I'm wanting this high to be taken and then for it to sell off. It might not do that. It could absolutely just sit here and grind up all morning, and then lunchtime do a sell-off. And then I'm like trying to short over in here, and really the top of the day is over here. So you got to be careful with that. All right, so this tailless candle was mitigated. Price is pushing further down. We do have a bearish SMT right there. Bearish SMT liquidity grab. So here, this fair value gap it got, so this gap got flipped once, twice. So one of two things, either this is extremely bearish or it's going to go sideways. That's my opinion. Nope, no closure. Starting to look like a flag to me. Oops, oh boy, knocking things over, knocking things over. That's not good. Oof, look at that bullish candle. So now, so here is my model, actually. Is a, oh boy, look at that, look at that. Oof. 5 minutes looking choppy. 15 minutes looking indecisive. So here's a local stop hunt inversion. It took 15-minute, that's 5-minute liquidity. So similar kind of thing, it chopped down here, pushed higher, and now it's just chopping again. So while we're waiting for that to do something, let's do this. Let's go over here and be efficient with our time. So let's look here. We got so this is Monday the 15th. And what I'm curious about, we have an upcoming No News Monday. And what we want to look at is what is it like to, what are the patterns that we see on certain types of days when we're trading? And two examples would be today's a No News Friday. And another example is a no news Monday. So on one of my to-do lists was to look back at the no news Mondays, look at the 9:30 open, and try to formulate a pattern that price action has been doing lately. Oh, look at this. Now is it gonna close below there? So here, this short idea is looking a lot less exciting to me. It's building this trend line liquidity to come after. So time is 10:15. It's outside of the macro window. Finally closed below this gap. And we can just see that price is working through here real deeply into premium and discount in this range, and it's working its way through these gaps over and over again. I don't even know if I want to take this on paper anymore. It might go, but I feel like it's low probability. So let's just say I market it in right. Well, it's not inside my macro, so I'm going to say no. I wouldn't mark it in. I'd let this one go. It's just too far. If it was a minute or two outside, I probably would have gone for it. But given that it's 15 after on the dot, let it go. I was going to at least tape read it, but and look at that, go figure, it is actually distributing. Which is cool to see, you know, like we'll see if it makes it all the way. I gotta wait and see before I say much, because it could just come for this right here, this tailless candle, and then reverse. So that is now mitigated. I'm going to clean these gaps up a little bit. We'll keep this one here because this was the trade idea that I'd been waiting for. I guess I could put the position tool on the screen. We'll know the target. Excuse me. We had a couple chances on that inversion. So that would have been the setup. You had this candle, you had this candlestick, and this candlestick to get in on 3 minutes. So here's a fair value gap. Do it like this. Get this position tool off of the candlesticks. We have some beautiful equal lows down in there. Look at that. Nice distribution. What was I saying earlier? It would accumulate and then just punch, and then accumulate and punch, one direction or the other. So here, roughly somewhere down in here, I probably would have gone break even. And we're about 60-ish% of the way to my target, so. $10.20 is this candle, so that's the start of the 10.20 to 10.40 macro window, which would have been in my trading window, but I wouldn't have had an entry into this setup. Coming back up to retest this fair value gap. Let's see if it holds as resistance. Oh, and this is what I was talking about on the 1 hour, where there was this opening price, the price opened here, wicked down and started pushing up, and I said we got to keep an eye out for this gap, and wondering, is price going to come and fill in this inefficiency, this gap? And look, to the tick right there, it touched the top of this candle, and at least at the moment it saw a response from there, and that's what we were looking out for. We wanted to know, was it going to do that and balance this out, or was it going to save it for later? So now we know there is no gap there. We don't know how this candle is going to close. That could be the tail, and it closes very bullish, which I would say is equally as possible in my eye as a bearish closure. All right, going back over here, looks like probably would have been break even on this trade. Probably. Oh, not quite. I moved it, but I was thinking right there, break even. Well, it's a nice looking inversion. Stop hunt. I don't have anything to do for a long. So we'll come back and take a look at this. All right, so Monday. No news Monday. We have let's even just replay this back a little further. Less candlesticks to deal with. So Excuse me. So here we have 940. Looks like YM did a stop hunt. So what we can see here is just one stage distribution. What is this, 9/12? 15th. No news Monday. And we're gonna say one stage distribution. We're gonna note no entry model. I'll make it, I usually do like a blue for these notes. So London made the low of the day. And we'll just start looking for patterns. Looking around, just seeing if there's anything I'm missing. And really isn't. Like, here was a long, like an inversion after a stop hunt. But there is not any more of the criteria met for a trade. Looks like it's running. Which, if you remember, I noted this relative equal highs and trendline liquidity up in here. They said that was sketching me out for any kind of short. All right, so we'll zoom out. Let's go look at this here. Was this a no news Monday? I believe so. So Wednesday, September 10th. So this is Monday, September 8th. Yeah, we have no news on this Monday. So I'm gonna select this bar over here. I'm gonna clean it up to right there because I want to be able to move around on the time frames. I want to see this on like the 15-minute, let's say. So 10:15 tapped into a gap. All right, so looking at this day here, similar kind of thing, a one-stage delivery, London low of the day, or there's probably an SMT, maybe. Yeah, I'll call that London low of the day. But this I may or may not have taken that trade, depending on how I was viewing the whole thing. So we have this pattern already of one stage delivery in London low of the day. So, oof, look at this. Was this a holiday? September 1st, this was Labor Day. So we'll skip that. We don't want to look at that day. Okay, so here we have Monday, no news Monday. And I forgot to look at the other weeks. Sometimes the Monday matters if it's a high. Ooh, what are like the NFP Mondays? FOMC Mondays. So here what we do have, we have a two-stage delivery, which is different. New York low. but a bit of a seek and destroy profile too. Is this am I writing the wrong dates? Because January, February, March, April, August. Whatever, August 25th. So here we did have a two-stage. Did have a seek and destroy open. And we did have no trade setup. I woke up, well, possibly one loss. I remember this day, and I didn't take this trade. You know, so it would have been something like that probably. All right, let's check back in on the current chart. It's just consolidating. I wasn't looking at historical data to figure out what the pattern on No News Mondays has been, I would be shutting down this stream. All right. So this is Thursday, August 21st, 22nd. We don't have any news that matters for Monday, relation to Monday, but again, it's a No News Monday. Is that, I'm almost not believing this. So let's see, Monday, September 8th, no news. Monday, September 1st, bank holiday. 25th, no news. 18th, no news. 11th, no news. 4th, no news. What is this we're on? 18th, yeah. 18th, no news. So we'll finish this one up and then I think I'll be done. But basically, the profile for the day is really seek and destroy. So seek and destroy. And one win possible. So we're seeing a pattern, which is that No News Mondays appear to be lower probability. So there's 4 in a row that I would classify it as lower probability. I'll keep going with this off stream, but I think I'm done for the day. There is just nothing I'm interested in here, and I don't want to waste my brain cells staring at poor price action. So the overall short idea that I came up with, that actually is probably going to play out just in time, not with the way I would have managed my trades. I would have been stopped at break even, but most people wouldn't move their stop up probably. See if we can see that. Yep, right there. So, you know, the stop was somewhere up in here, I think. Anyway, there's no point in wasting the brain cells in this price action. So I'm going to shut it down. Today's Friday, right? So yeah, I'll be live on Monday at 9:30 open, and I'll see you there.